This is your daily dose of TOK. So in this lesson we looked at the Verstehen principle. We started off by looking at a Zionastist ceremony, and we thought if you're an alien species and this is the only piece of information you had about human civilization on planet Earth, what sort of conclusions would you come to? We then had a closer think in actually what Verstehen is actually talking about. What we didn't talk about directly on the website was the elephant. So here is a picture of an elephant, and it's like an old fable. They were blind people, and if you asked a blind person to describe an elephant, it very much depend on which part of the elephant they were touching or feeling. So for the human sciences, particularly as a researcher, it's really important that we take the Verstehen position into consideration. So we then had a simple definition of the Verstehen, and basically Verstehen is trying to understand it from inside, not trying to understand it as an outsider looking in. It's really important that when we do research in the human sciences, we look at the issue from without, but also within. Both types of thinking are important. Both types of thinking generate their own specific type of knowledge. We had to think about a classic movie, Galaxy Quest. Sorry, I am a bit of a science fiction nerd. So what happened on this one is that there's a TV series, it's meant to be Star Trek, and there's this alien species out there. The only piece of information they have about Earth is this TV series, Star Trek. They thought it was true, so when their home planet was destroyed, they came to Earth seeking help. They thought Earth was exactly going to be like the sci-fi movie that they had watched. Obviously, they were very different. So you can see, again, something that we can see again and again, there are elements of TOK in popular culture. A lot of the films we watch and the TV programs we watch are actually based around TOK concepts. So TOK is a real life thing that you probably experience every day without realizing. So again, we linked back to human systems, and if you remember from previous lessons, you may have looked at the urban planning, trying to understand what a South American city would be like just by studying a theoretical model. That's from without. Really, to understand what the city is like, you need to experience it from within. You actually need to go to a slum, see it, smell it, hear it, to fully understand what is going on. So then we went on to look at the idea of Mary's room. Before we looked at that, though, we gave another optional task, the Tacite controversy. This one was people watched this film, they assumed it was correct, they trusted the people. Very quickly, though, when people actually went to the location where the film, experienced it from within, very quickly we realised the total thing was a complete and utter fraud and fake. So there's quite an interesting case study there. So again, it emphasised why Verstehen is really important for researchers in human behaviour and social phenomena. Remember, we can take a theory, but the real test of that theory is what happens when you put human beings into the mix. Human beings have agency, they change things, so we need to understand those interactions. So looping round to another theoretical context, which you might want to mention in your exhibition or perhaps your essay, is the concept of Mary's room. Mary, theoretical scientist, living in a black and white world. She studied colour all of her life. Then finally she managed to escape from her black and white capsule and was quite shocked when she saw the vivid colour of the real world. This has been something theoretically she'd been studying all of her life, could never fully understand what colour is until she experienced it firsthand. So there's this relationship between a subjective experience and an objective experience, how those experiences generate knowledge. First-hand experience in the human sciences is really important. There are limitations if we just take pure empiricism in the human sciences. That's not really how the human sciences work. The human sciences require empathetic interpretation. Mary really did not understand what was going on until she saw that colour. Another one that we looked at, one of my videos where we talked about Plato's cave. You don't have to know about this, but it's quite interesting to see how the cave dwellers had a very warped perception of their universe, and when those people escaped from the cave, actually saw what real life was like. When he returned to the cave, people didn't believe him. So there we're talking about the limitations of direct observation in Plato's cave. There's a interpretation of what's going on there, emphasis on context and meaning. So that brings us to our lesson review, the video that you are watching there. Very quickly, this is artificial intelligence. Very quickly, I asked artificial intelligence to apply the Verstehen principle and say why it's important in psychology. You can read that text through if you study psychology. Geography, my subject area, I asked the question, why is Verstehen important principle for IB human geography? You can do the same for your own human science. You can ask Poe or some artificial intelligence program why Verstehen is really important. Remember, we go back to this thing again, an understanding of Verstehen and the importance in the human sciences of experiencing something within will help you to make better essays, will help you with your critical thinking process.